Okay, so I'm Piotr. I work at Monday, and I would like to talk with you about Kubernetes at scale, at potentially huge scale. And speaking about our scale, here is some data. So we have 2 million requests per minute. We have over 4,000 Kubernetes nodes, and as you see, we have lots of pods, right? So how many Kubernetes clusters we need to handle this scale? If you go to Kubernetes documentation, you can see the limitations, and it's 5,000 nodes. So you remember that slide? Actually, you can cover that scale with single cluster, right? But that's just a theory. In practice, not really, and maybe it's even not a good idea to keep everything in single Kubernetes cluster, right? You probably want to split between environments, obviously, right? You want to have production environment, staging, development, and so on. You potentially want to have multiple regions to keep workload closer to your customers, and many, many other reasons. So in our case, instead of having one cluster, in fact, we have 50 clusters, but we are actually aiming to have 100 clusters in nearest future, because we discover the reason for having simple process to create new Kubernetes clusters. For example, we have important customers and we want to have stable infrastructure, dedicated infrastructure for them. We also want to replicate production environment very fast for disaster recovery and for performance testing and other purposes. So how to create a cluster in Monday? When I joined Monday, I didn't know how to do it. So I asked my boss, hey, how to do that? And he sent me a link, yeah? And he wished me good luck. So I clicked that link and I saw huge manual procedure. I started scrolling it and it was like never ending, so many steps, and I got stuck for 2 weeks in the middle, right? Not great. So I saw we need a change. We need to do something. We don't want to have a procedure with 40 steps or more. You know, in Monday, we have Sphera. Sphera is our internal development platform. So we wanted to have everything automated. We want to have a screen when we can put the name of the cluster and the place when the cluster will be physically created. In that case, it will be AWS, and APSI2 means it will be Australia, Sydney. And after the click on submit, everything should happen manually. So how we achieve that, it's a very long story, but I have only 5 minutes. So one of the tools that help us a lot is CDK for Terraform. CDK stands for Cloud Development Kit, and that's basically a wrapper to Terraform. You probably heard about Terraform. It's industry standard for keeping infrastructure as a code, and CDK is a wrapper. So thanks to that, you can use TypeScript, Python, Java, and other languages, and you can use all the elasticity of these languages to develop your product, right? And how it looks in the code, right? Pretty easy. If you want to create new cluster on AWS, you just need to import one module. You have to provide the name of the cluster, the role in AWS, some VPC config like defining subnets, and so on. You type CDKTF deploy in the console, and that's it. All the magic is created for you. That's a very simple example. What elasticity you can achieve. So if you are familiar with Terraform, there is something like TF vars, right? This is like simple structure where you can override your environments. You have some defaults, then you have different config for production, different for staging, different for this region, for that region, a lot of cases. So in classic Terraform, the structure is quite static, but in comparison on the right, you have our CDKTF structure when everything depends on you. Whatever elasticity you need, you just define define it, you can refactor it, and you can create a code that matches these variables and provide it to your infrastructure. So this is just an example because I have 5 minutes, but I would like to invite you to our engineering blog, engineering.monday.com. Colleague of mine wrote a very deep dive into CDKTF. If you are interested in this topic, I recommend you to check it out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, surprise, we have time for questions. Is there a question? Okay, first row and last row. I get the first row, you get the last row. Don't worry.
Is there any reason why you're using CDK for Terraform instead of just CDK when you're targeting AWS? Just AWS.
Yeah, we could use just CDK from AWS. That's what you are asking, right? But CDK allow us to also use our existing Terraform infrastructure, right? So we don't need to rewrite everything. We can just use existing module and use CDK. But actually, CDKTF was inspired by AWS CDK, right? So very, very good question. Thank you.
Okay, and one more.
So why should I choose CDK over regular Terraform?
So I think you should choose that if you have some, if you need more elasticity, right? So Terraform is like the declarative approach. CDKTF give you the imperative power. So you need to be careful to not overuse that imperative because you can create a monster. But if you use it in moderated way, let's say, then you have huge power to improve your infrastructure as code.
Warsaw.